Hey, what's going on, everybody? All22. We are here. We're going to do what we normally do. We're going to go through the first series of the Browns defense versus the 49ers. I'm just going to talk through it. I'm not going to stop the film until the second series, and then we'll start breaking stuff down as we go through the game. Kyle Shanahan always does a good job the first series, coming up with some good plays, different motions, maybe even different personnel groupings, just to get a defense off kilter here. But the Browns, they make a lot of mistakes in this first drive. If anybody watches this and says this is a great scheme, no, it's more just about getting quick snapped and having lots of penalties. But the one thing I noticed right off the bat is that this is the example here, actually. This is a penalty, offsides. The defense stops playing. Then the guy's chasing him down. You get a late push there at the end, which honestly should not have been a penalty. But this is an example here. We get double-edged pressure. 99 gets offsides. Guys stop playing until, they realize that McCaffrey's still running with the ball. And then this is supposed to be a late hit. They add another 15 on top. So now the ball is on the 35, 34-yard line. All right. But anyway, something that was interesting is that I have to go back and watch some Browns films from the past couple weeks. I could be wrong, but the Browns are running the same big nickel package that the Cowboys ran. Two safeties down, but they're running it a lot better, a lot smarter, better rules. Okay. But they do get hit a little bit there with that counter play that kind of gashes that defense a little bit, just like it did the Cowboys. On this play here, yeah, this one here is another penalty. 99 gets a face mask penalty. The one thing about the wide 9 is that Jim Schwartz will send outside pressure, inside pressure, those type of things. This one, number 6, the linebacker, makes this ball bubble out because of that pressure look up the middle, right? So he will do that. He's not going to just sit in the wide 9 package, okay? Niners go hurry up here. They try to get him off. They try to catch him off guard. But the 3 technique on the right side of the defense just knocks back Aaron Banks. He pushes his S in. Watch 96 right here. They try to quick snap him, but look at that push and that penetration. That will always kill any type of outside zone play, or mid zone play, or wide zone as they call it. And then this play here is just a good, well executed play, really by number 23 on offense. I mean, he's boxed in there, but he does a great job, keeps his eyes up. It looks like a little bit like the Browns really weren't ready. The tempo of the Niners got him a little bit. But this is to me is just a 5-yard game by anybody else in the NFL. And the MVP of this offense is 23. The offense runs through him by making plays like that, touchdowns. But just kind of want to talk about that first series a little bit, get a little bit of a flow. Then we'll start breaking it down once we get through the rest of the stuff. And I will break it down and, give you guys on YouTube some highlights of the video. Guys on the Patreon will get the full breakdown of the full game if you want to hear me talk about every play. And that'll probably be about an hour long. But the guys on YouTube, I just got a note on this little play here. So just let me talk real quick about what I've noticed so far and what I think the NFL is pretty much going to. Big nickel has become the way to play 21 teams that don't really play 21 personnel. They line up in 21 personnel, but they come out like Shanahan. They come out like the Ravens do here and there now, where they're going to line up in spread sets, compression sets, one-back formations, and try to get you all screwed up. So we're just going to play big nickel, which really came from Belichick. He was doing that since really the mid-'80s, okay? If teams ever did that to them back in the day, that's how the New York Giants were set up sometimes back when he was back then. So, but anyway, that's what's happening. Just expect it. That's perfectly fine. And, that's the way the league is now. So I expect that. I'm curious to see if that changes throughout this game. But on this play here, okay, formationally, they're in their wide defense as we know and love, right? So again, the wide 9, I didn't really get a chance to fully explain it, but these guys are going to line up outside in what would be a 9 technique, outside leverage if there was a tight end standing right here, outside edge, and it might even take one step wider, okay? But a lot of times versus certain formations, you are going to have to potentially play inside and play in a 7 technique or a 6-eye technique, okay? So they do mix that up a little bit. You get these nice 4-point stances, and then also you get guys playing in gaps here because the D linemen are trying to get up the field, all right? But let's just watch this supposed wide 9 who's really head up on this tight end right here on Kittle. Let's just watch this matchup right here and watch how Kittle just gets his stuff rocked right here. Watch this. Boo, right back into the backer. Like, that's ridiculous. Let's watch that again, right? Let's focus on who's at 54, who is a really good player. I got to get his name right. I mean, look how he just takes Kittle and just throws him out the club, pushes him back, nowhere to go, makes the play. I don't have to break down anything more. That's an amazing job by 54. All right. This play, you can tell the tempo. Like, watch when the huddle breaks, even the cameraman's off. You can tell they're about to go fast. When everybody sprints up to the line, they're about to run a play real quickly. Okay, so this play is it's not wide open, but it's an easy catch for Kittle on this one. They come out in a bunch formation. Now they're playing man to man, so that's one of the challenges that when you play cover one, we got to cover these three versus these three, and how you going to do it. Usually the nickel covers the guy at the point, and then over here, I think we're in 11 personnel, so we're in regular nickel personnel. We got to just play man to man on different levels, but they go so fast that they kind of get caught off guard. Usually, the way it works is if you're going to play lock levels, and I think that's what they're doing. You get press here as close as you can be, then you get this guy over here at about 3 to 5 yards, okay? And he should be back at about 7 yards because most likely his guy is going to go under and he needs to be able to clear to get over the top. And this guy needs to be able to clear in case he goes out. And that's the route that you get. Now, how do you stop this? I'm not going to try to say whoever has the chalk last, especially when they're going so fast. I'd rather guys just be on their guy and make a play. So that's just a good route by them. They just ran a generic drive 7 with 3 going out right now. But if you knew this was coming and you can get lined up quickly, the best thing to do is just to lock up the point man and play just to in and out with 1 and 3 on these two guys. We called it tango with our DBs. Some people call it just some sort of combo, okay? But basically means that you guys are watching these guys, and if he comes in and he goes out, we would switch and he would be out here. Okay, but they didn't get that call in. They just wanted to get up and play. They had to. When you're a DB coach, you got to get your guys to be able to. Sometimes you got to drill this. We used to drill this where we would just break the huddle with a fake offense, like scout offense. You would go line up and just run wherever you want, like you're on the playground, and to see how fast the defense is going to get lined up and be able to cover somebody. And the goal was just to make sure everybody was on somebody. All right, this play is unbelievably. I'm not sure what is going on here. I know it's third down, and I know that it was a potential wide open touchdown here. So let's just look at the front rush, and I'll go back and spend more time on the coverage. But you definitely have a nice little stunt with 99 coming right off the edge, right? So the 49ers do a lot of this on their defense too, as we watched in the beginning of the year. They're kind of put overload to one side and put a backer standing over here, and they work different games, right? So on this one, it looks like they kind of work some type of twist to get this guy to come through here, right? It could be a situation where I've seen it with with 54 with Warner. They would kind of twist away around here, and he would come around. But that's usually what happens. Two guys go in one direction, and then one guy comes up the middle, and that's kind of it usually creates a free runner depending on the blocking scheme up front. But just wanted to show that 5-man pressure, right? But take a look at look at number 5. Look how he turns around and points and starts talking to the safeties. He's off. No, 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 no. I don't know what he's saying. So I don't know if this would have if somebody was supposed to actually pressure up here, because I know Jim does have what they kind of call hey diddle diddle 3 up the middle and then bring a safety, and then he'll play hot coverage behind it. But I don't think that's what this was. Let me go back to the wide shot and take a look at it with you. So it's third and long. Jim Schwartz does have hot coverages, like I just said, where he will bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right, he'll bring overload coverage, and he'll play either or. He'll play 2 guys that play short, and then 3 guys that play deep. Right, and these guys are just hot on number 2s. Okay, they're looking to find number 2, and they're just going to play hot, and everyone else is going to play zone. So he does have that. He could do it out of a 2 high shell as well. Okay, now this is not a 2 high shell, obviously. But what's interesting here is that you get man to man here. So I don't know if they game planned it because this is number 15 and on third down, number 15 does get a lot of targets. I know Jim probably knows that. So he could be just saying, I want to play man here, but behind here, I have no idea. What it looks like, if they're playing it correct, it looks like he's like a curl flat player. He's a curl flat player. Jim Swartz will play zone drop defense on third down. He won't just play match defense. This is when he'll play zone drop. And then I'm thinking if that's the case, he should have probably been in the middle of the field, a little bit deeper at the sticks. And these guys look like they're definitely playing deep outside third. So I'm thinking that's what it should have been. But he sits down here and bangs up on this guy runs a route. He actually sits there, looks like they're double teaming him. So I'm not sure what that is. The only other thing that it could be, okay, if this is actually done correctly, and I looked in the sideline, I didn't see any coaches going crazy, is we're basically going to double team number 15 because he gets the ball a lot. We're going to have these guys play like the sticks, kind of like curl flats. And we're just going to have our corners play like deep half technique, like an inverted cover two. You know what I'm saying? And we're just going to kind of like double team. Like we're going to have a middle, instead of having a middle hole player, we're going to have him sit here and be ready for the classic. Let me change the colors here. Right? What do the Niners like to do? Right? Niners love throwing like dig routes, right? Deep dig, something like that, right? That's what they do on third down. Let's be honest. We've seen it a million times right now. So maybe that's what they thought. Now give Purdy a little bit of props here. That's the one skill that he has is that even though there's a guy barreling down in his face, he recognizes a potential bust in coverage. And I don't know what Ayuk is doing. He looks like he should be running a post outside, like he widened him so far. And it looks like he should be running like a skinny post. And that's where the ball looks like it was going. It looks like Ayuk is surprised to even get the ball. Watch the receiver at the top. Just watching in regular motion. That's how I usually like to watch it. Look at him. Come out of his break, and he comes out slow. Comes out slow, and he doesn't even look. So I don't know where his eyes were. I don't know what happened, but I mean, you watch this film and you say, "Oh, Purdy missed his guy." Well, I think this is just a drop. I think this one actually people do consider a drop route. You get that deep actual. You get this little work. Hold up. You get the work the numbers out here route, and then he works like that deep comeback. You definitely still get your over here. So some sort of route combination like that. Purdy just sees that the middle of the field is wide open, which he has good vision with the guy in his face. He still attempts to make this throw, which is pretty damn ballsy. And I do think that the Browns are lucky there. That's a very either unorthodox like two invert or something else, but I'm not sure what happened here. This could be a bust. I'm looking at 26 again, and he looks a little confused. But hey, you can't call him. Only they know that one. But it got him off the field. That was the end of the third series. We'll see you in the next series. Nobody was on him, so I'm just going to probably chalk it up to poor coverage, miscommunication, ME. But definitely the guy the guy who got the ball, the corner at the top, is looking in the backfield. Okay, so he's just peeking in the backfield. Right, he's not watching his guy. He sees the stretch coming this way, and that's really bad. That's your first assignment is to watch your man. But if you remember the play before, his guy came in the crack, he came down, and the ball went outside. So he's probably just he's one play late right now, and Shanahan knows it. So he runs the complimentary play the very next play, and he gets beat. Watch this jump by Ayuk. It's athleticism right there on display. All right, this next play here, we get motion across. Offsides penalties are free play, but the ball is dropped. Okay, so on this little play right here, Ayuk is going to run that dig route, right? That's so known for the drift route right here with this motion. So the matchup right now is going to be number 21 against Ayuk. And I'm a little disappointed in Ward's back pedal. Look how fast he's out of there. There's no way you could transition on that play. Especially if you may not know what the route is, but there's no reason why his technique is so fast. If you guys went back and watched last week, go watch the video I did on shade technique. So shade technique is what your corners will play versus receivers that are inside the numbers. And that's what you get here and you get here. So both these guys are playing shade technique and they both get straight vertical releases, which are the hardest ones. But you still got to be able to walk out a little bit, right? And then not give up, not have so much cushion now. Come on. He ain't that fast. I don't think Ward is a good off man corner. I'm shocked that the Niners don't get in this formation more often, man, in this game. I hope they do. We're going to go through it, but I would think that would have been something that they would have seen on film that they can take advantage of. What happens here, though, and this is man-to-man coverage rules, okay? Probably, let's go back to the wide shot real quick. So when you have teams that like to do what they call swap, or I forgot the word the offensive guys use sometimes, but this guy's going to come back and block the defensive end. Everybody's going to step this way and run inside zone. So it's just called split zone, inside zone. When you're playing man to man, right? Whoever has these guys in man to man, which right now is going to be, I'm sorry, it's not him. Let me get that off. It's actually going to be this safety, right? And this linebacker. Originally, he has him, but when he's off the ball like that, you usually have a communication between you two guys. It allows you to combo if there's some sort of swap. So as soon as this guy comes back, as soon as he comes back and he steps this way, this linebacker will fall back and take him man to man and also fit the gap appropriately, right? And then this player here would take the running back man to man and fit the gap appropriately there too as well. So it kind of was just like an exchange, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see communication between those two players. Yep. We're seeing it in the end zone shot here. Watch the middle linebacker 44. Watch him point to 22. Right? He's telling him, hey, it's me and you. We're working together. So you see how 44, as soon as the ball snapped, he's keen. Even though the back is going this way, he's keen this guy coming back, and he's going to meet him. So he will close that gap here, and he'll go outside of him. If he goes out on a pass, he'll cover him. And this linebacker now basically becomes a frontside backer to fill where needed on the running back. All right? Because if I'm not mistaken, this gap in front of me over here looks like we get a little bit of a stuntage here with this guy went to that A gap. So the open gap technically is A gap right here, which is going to be covered by 22, but he's just following the back. If the back was to go in here, he would have stayed in there, and then he ends up making the first hit. He doesn't actually tackle him, but he's a free hitter here. Watch 22. Oh, now also, why is he a free hitter? Because from an offensive standpoint, they were supposed to try to crack with the wide receiver on that safety, and he didn't get there. Why? Because 22 is proven to me that he's probably one of the better in the box safeties. He plays fast like a linebacker, man. Love it. Good effort on the backside. The guy that makes this play is actually your backside tackle right here. He's the one that falls, keeps on hustling, and makes the tackle about 3 yards down the field. Nice job by him. Really like to see that. While you run to the ball. So this is going back to a little bit of almost like going against the Cowboys. The defense is in a 4-4. They're in their normal wide 9 with their with their big nickel personnel. And they're just gonna run like lead. They're gonna run inside zone to the right with a lead blocker, right? And McCaffrey cuts it back in the wide open A gap there. So the thing, who's gonna play the A gap here, right? Well, we have these guys. Most likely, he's going to be in the A gap here on this side, right? And these backers are going to fit depending on which way the ball goes. So the ball steps this way. He technically is the A gap player, right? But there's going to be a double team working up to him, and 65 gets his revenge and pushes him out the club, right? He's either going to come here or come here. But as soon as the ball goes backwards, now you got your safety who has to play like a linebacker. He needs to scrape and get into this gap as well. Right, he needs to keep scraping across. He's the backside cutback player. And you can just see how slow he is on this play to get across the field. He doesn't actually get there with a lot of speed. He kind of waits, and then makes the hit. The 22 never got blocked right there. If he's gone right now, which I understand why he's not gone right now, is because he has man coverage, so there's a little bit of a conflict of interest. I get it. So he has man on him, so his eyes are on him because he never knows if he's going to leak out. So, but I think he still should trigger a little bit faster. This is called being able to see on defense, not just this guy and not just this guy, is to see the whole triangle. Best players in the world can see all of this, and they would know that as soon as these guys are working up the field, bro, it, it's not going to be a screen. It's not going to be a pass. You can say F that guy. Like, you don't have to cover him no more, man. All right. So that's called him having a little bit too much man eyes and not focusing on the total triangle to see what's going on. As soon as you saw 65 work up the field, you should have been like, oh, this is a run. I don't have to sit here no more. If he would have just fit, he would have been there to potentially hit McCaffrey in the ear hole a lot sooner. He's a little late. That's just me being a linebacker coach there, coaching that guy in the 4-2-5 defense when I was a college coach. Pitcher, I'm not sure who was going to be, but 26 makes this play. 15 is going to try to block him. But as soon as that motion came, he went into the box. And I talked about this before that these linebackers, these safeties play so much better than what the Cowboys do. These guys will get into their gaps, man, and they get down at like 3 yards. They don't mess around. They don't sit back here and float. You know what I mean? They're trying to get down there. And as soon as they see a block like that, 26 pulls his trigger and gets in there for a TFL. That's not a blitz. That's just recognition. And that's a good job. Was that McLeod? Good job by him. Impressive. Again, that comes from Jim Schwartz's linebacker background. And those safeties are over there with the linebackers working their run fits, just like they would if they were linebackers, especially in today's football. It's necessary. I think this is third down again. They go quick count here. It's a nice job by Thornhill, number one. He comes down and makes the hit. So let's explain this play, okay? This is something that is common in the red zone. A lot of people are going to want to hear about this, all right? So what we get here is, again, they try to go quick because they don't want them to get their matchups. They don't want them to talk. Common coverage. It's cover 7, all right? Some people, he calls it 57 when it's nickel. You put an R in front of it, red 57, whatever you want to do. This is a common Nick Saban, Belichick, Fangio, anybody, Rex Ryan, Wade Phillips, NFL defense, all right? So what we're doing is playing man-to-man across the board, here, 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 okay? And then here. So man-to-man, 5 guys under. And what we're going to get here is communication from your safeties working games or double teams, okay? So these guys are going to talk to whoever they need to. Usually it's pre-gamed, talked about like, hey, they have a good tight end like Kittle, and then we want to probably double team the running back. So they communicate with words like, hey, whoever has him, we're going to double team him together. You play outside leverage, I play inside leverage. So the reason why I think they definitely had this game plan is because the ball snapped quick, and you're going to see a double team on, who is it going to be? I think it's on Kittle, right? Because you can see that 22, he plays outside leverage, and then he sits inside, and then he does the same thing. He plays inside leverage on 23, and then this linebacker or safety, whoever it is, works outside leverage. He works the angle or whatever they call that route. He's going to be sitting there waiting for it. So watch the safeties, okay, and just go through the play, and you'll see how they're helping with underneath coverage. Everybody else is just basically locked up man to man with no help. All right, but you get that help. Like you see right here at the bottom, you see how 22 is outside leverage, and this guy's sitting here. So if he was to work an out route like a corner, then he would free up and look to help and just read the quarterback. But look at 44 cover this route. I think they call that an option route. Look how he's overplaying it, right? Because what's happening here? This guy is sitting right here, and he's going to play the inside part of that route. So this is a common red zone coverage that you get where it looks like it could be potential quarters, right? But right here, I think this is definitely what they call 57 in Jim Schwartz's language, red 57. So, I had to go up against Gronk all the time, all year long. Look at 85. He comes off, he gets physical at 22. right? Basically tries to push his way through him. Usually referees can see that. All 22 is just kind of fall back and then just like he can hold his ground too. Like 85 cannot just run through a guy at this point and be pushing into him, and that's not allowed. If he's allowed to do that, then the DB should be allowed to keep his hands. Now, maybe his hands are on his back. Maybe that's what it is. But there's really no egregious move. There's no forcible move that's done by the DB there. That should not have been a penalty. But the referees. And then on this play again, they're playing off, which is this is the same picture we've seen. I don't know if whatever. I don't know what they're anticipating right now, but this is going to be off cover. It's going to be man to man, man. He has the guy here, man, man, and they're going to play robber. So again, I don't know if Purdy doesn't see the robber, but the robber comes down. He's right in the window, but he ends up throwing the ball to the outside guy. So I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not like he didn't do a Jimmy and throw it right to the robber. He tried to hit the outside dig, but this is what I had saw, from the TV copy. It was just all these interior breaks coming out of the half. Like, what was the setup? What was the plan? They thought, I guess the Niners thought they had a lot more space in the middle to keep throwing the ball, but it looks very just dig heavy, keep running inside breaking routes. And that one just was a poor throw. All right, go to the next series. Brings a single linebacker pressure off the edge, right? And everybody here is just sliding down. Don't know if it's boot protection, naked protection, whatever. But the protection's beat with the simple blitz off the edge. Unblocked. Man to man. Not much else to say besides win for the guys in the white. Linebacker does a good job of kind of disguising. I mean, a little bit. But that's just a simple pressure coming off the backside of that protection. And he dialed them up for a W. Let's go to the next play. All right, third down. So I'm going to go back and put this on my tape for the DB school shade technique and talk about what happens here. Okay. So I talked about this a little bit where if you have a slot receiver, right, you should play that shade technique. If he comes vertically at you down the field, right, you're going to have to play that technique. And really, there's going to be a point where he's going to have to make a decision because he's probably going to run a corner or a post. If you sit there, right there in the outside leverage of him, and I don't want to say stop your feet because that's what the guy from last week did. That's a bad thing. But if your body is outside leverage of him and he's trying to run a corner route and he couldn't give you any move whatsoever, he's going to get frustrated and he's going to probably try to just run you over. And that's what Brandon Ayuk does here. He literally pushes off here at the bottom of the screen, right? So it's kind of that catch technique that the corner's playing down here. I don't know how this is not PI call. This is ridiculous. Watch this. I mean, watch the physicality. Let me just push you out of the way because you're standing where I need to go. And I told you that a lot of corners get really, a lot of receivers get all crazy over that, and they kind of messes up their whole life. But Purdy still tries to throw this ball. I'm pretty sure he did not anticipate his receiver doing that and pushing the guy out of the way. But hey, he did. A good job by that corner. Also recovering and getting to a point of if the ball was thrown over his shoulder, he would have been able to get there. But I think people thought this was like a poorly thrown ball. I think it's more of just a bad route of just manhandling the guy and then his angle's all weird. I mean, in the NFL, you're not supposed to be pushing off people down the field at 12 yards. And that's just a good defensive back play. That's a great shade technique. So now we got a new series here. This is embarrassing at this point. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure what's going on. But we got the same free runner on the same blitz that we had earlier. I mean, I admire, hey, if it worked the first time, let's do it again. But this must be a huge tell that this line is just sliding away. Please, offensive guys, talk to me, right? Number 6 again is standing here. Maybe it wasn't number 6 last time. It was number 6. And he's just blitzing off the edge. Just a simple 5-man pressure. And the O line is just letting him free. Or again, is this a boot play? No, it's not. So we got a full slide protection play. Please, JTO, let me know. I guess we're supposed to have a hot over here, but Purdy looks like he's surprised by it every time. Intentional grounding. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on from the offensive standpoint. I just know defense is doing what they did last time. It worked, so hey, let's do it again. See if they fixed it. Nope, they didn't. I was expected to see this a little bit more. We get, again, cover one robber, it looks like. 23 is getting picked on at the bottom down here. Pretty much the exact same route. Now, I don't understand the robber player here with the safety. Let me go back to yellow. I mean, he's sitting down here, and I'm going to teach you guys something from a DB standpoint, how to make this tackle. Because when you watch him, he's going to like overrun the play. And it's something we call eyes before feet. All right. And I'll talk about it here in a second. See it better from the end zone angle. Eyes before feet. DB school. So anytime you're a post player or a player playing robber, ball's thrown in front of you, okay, you see the ball leave the hand of the quarterback. Before you set your angle with your feet to know where you're going, get your eyes to the receiver and see where he is so you can take a good inside out angle. All right, so let's watch this guy right here. Ball's thrown, right? Watch him. He's already opening up his body right now, even before I was able to pause it. And he's starting to react on where the ball is being thrown, not looking at the angle of the route that's being run. We're trying to match your angle first with your eyes before you decide with your feet where to go. And what happens is a lot of DBs end up overrunning it. So he's already taken that angle that's so wide of where the ball was thrown, opens up all this space on the inside. So if you're just patient for a half a second, knowing that you're not going to make a play on the ball, but you could take a good angle to make a tackle, all right? And this is something you got to drill. It's his eyes before your feet, so just stay square. And then I guarantee you he would have saw the ball caught and how the angle of the receiver is coming flat, and he would have worked just like that. Okay? He wouldn't be working flat. But he already decided in his mind to get that wide angle. And this is speaking from experience. I've played safety, so I know I've been in the shoes before. I've overrun plays. But the coaching point I learned in the NFL was, hey, eyes before feet. So when this ball's thrown, it's thrown, right? You see how his feet are already now going, like I had said, in the direction of where he thinks the ball is going? Like he's about to go make a play over here? No. Right now, his eyes should be looking over here. His feet should still be flat like this. And then he can take that angle. He can see where the ball is caught right here. And now he would have made a, oh, snap, look at Ayuk. He's facing inside, hard inside. Now let me set my feet to where I have to go, which would be here. Okay? So that you guys can vice tackle right there. All right? So just a lesson for any of the young DBs out there. You ever get caught in the middle of the field playing safety, or you're in the middle of the field and you have to make a tackle? Eyes before feet. Same thing with 22. What is 22 is a man-to-man coverage, so he just does a poor job. But you can see how the other safety is already taking an angle out here, like he's about to. Like he's the only person on the field. This is just a poor job. It looks almost a little lazy here by 22. Like he thinks somebody else is going to make the tackle, and he's trying to conserve energy. But that's a huge play. Like honestly, and even 44 misses him. If they would have lost the game on that, that would have been heart-wrenching for that defense that played so well. is to have that one technical mess up.